From the moment Macedonian banners appeared on the horizon, Persia felt destiny shift. A young Macedonian king boldly claimed to inherit an ancient empire. This is Alexander's conquest, told through Persian eyes. The Rise and Fall of the Persian Empire, Part 14. When Persia fell, Alexander's rise, through Persian eyes. In 334 BCE, Persian observers stationed at southern fortresses noted Macedonian forces crossing the Hellespont. Initially underestimated as a minor threat, Persia, having withstood barbarians, nomads, and internal strife, did not fear this incursion. Yet, by winter, Persian satraps relayed troubling reports of Macedonian advances in Asia Minor. The Battle of the Granicus River, resulting in Persian satrap deaths, marked a turning point. This was no ordinary rebellion. Alexander's personal leadership of a daring cavalry charge across the Granicus stunned Persian commanders, decisively shifting momentum in his favor. In 333 BCE, King Darius III mobilized the remaining Persian cavalry and infantry at Issus, numerically superior, yet tactically disadvantaged. Alexander, exploiting the narrow coastal plain, neutralized Persian advantages. Alexander led a decisive cavalry charge that shattered the Persian left flank, causing immediate disarray and panic. The premature retreat of Darius further deepened Persian confusion and demoralization.
When they saw the king had left the field, the rest scattered.
Before Egypt, Alexander's campaign faced an extraordinary obstacle at the city of Tyre, an impregnable island fortress. Tyre symbolized Persian naval power and authority in the Mediterranean. Alexander responded by constructing a massive causeway, stretching half a mile from the mainland. Despite continuous Tyrian assaults with arrows, fireships, and burning projectiles, this monumental engineering effort, persisting through 7 grueling months, demonstrated Alexander's determination and logistical ingenuity. Ultimately, the causeway turned the island fortress into a peninsula, permanently altering its geography and showcasing the lengths Alexander would go to break Persian control.
Tyre's walls were strong, but Alexander's will was stronger.
By 322 BCE, Alexander's capture of Tyre facilitated his march into Egypt, previously under Persian rule. Egyptian priests at the Oracle of Amun declared him divine, enhancing his legitimacy.
The people of Egypt hailed him as son of Ammon.
Persian officials recognized the political theater, yet the Egyptians welcomed Alexander as liberator and pharaoh, exposing the fragility of Persian authority. In 331 BCE, Darius III assembled one of the largest armies Persia had ever raised, and met Alexander near the plains of Gaugamela. The battlefield had been deliberately leveled to aid Persian chariots, but this terrain also allowed Alexander's disciplined cavalry to maneuver with devastating precision. Fearing capture and believing the battle lost, Darius once again fled the battlefield, and Persian lines collapsed. The defeat at Gaugamela shattered any remaining illusion of Persian invincibility. In the wake of the battle, the great cities of Babylon and Susa, long-standing administrative and ceremonial centers of the empire, surrendered without resistance. Their satraps, realizing the futility of further defense, welcomed Alexander to avoid destruction.
Babylon was delivered into his hands without a blow.
After Gaugamela, Darius III fled east to regroup, but was betrayed by his satraps, including Bessus of Bactria. Captured and mortally wounded, Darius died before Alexander could reach him. Alexander, upon finding his body, ordered a royal burial with honors. Whether from admiration, politics, or ambition, this act marked the end of Achaemenid sovereignty.
Alexander covered Darius with his own cloak and ordered a royal burial.
With Persia's heartland fallen and Darius dead, Alexander entered Persepolis in 330 BCE, the ceremonial capital of the empire, filled with centuries of symbolism and sacred meaning, offered no resistance. The satrap surrendered, and Macedonian troops entered the city unopposed. Though some sources claim Alexander intended to preserve Persepolis, a drunken celebration, or calculated vengeance for Athens, led to its torching. The fires consumed not only palaces and temples, but priceless archives that recorded the wisdom and lineage of Persian kings. Following the destruction of Persepolis, Alexander turned eastward, determined to eliminate the last fragments of Persian resistance. Bessus, the satrap who had betrayed Darius, proclaimed himself king in Bactria and rallied remnants of the Persian nobility. Alexander pursued Bessus relentlessly across the rugged lands of Central Asia. Despite fierce guerrilla resistance led by Persian commanders like Spitamenes, the Macedonian campaign was brutal and effective. Bessus was eventually captured, tried for regicide, and executed, ending any claim to Achaemenid legitimacy. Alexander continued, campaigning into Sogdiana and beyond, marrying Roxana, a Bactrian noblewoman, to unite his new empire through marriage as well as conquest. In 323 BCE, at the height of his power, Alexander suddenly fell ill in Babylon. After days of worsening symptoms, he died at just 32 years old. The cause remains uncertain. Theories range from malaria and typhoid fever to poison, but no definitive answer has endured. His final words, when asked who should rule, was said to be, "To the strongest." With no appointed heir, his generals, the Diadochi, carved the empire apart. Persian lands were divided among Seleucus, Ptolemy, and others. Unity vanished, and so did any hope of restoring Persia's imperial identity. With Alexander's death and the division of his empire, Persian lands were absorbed by new powers rather than reclaimed by Persians themselves. The Seleucid Empire inherited much of the eastern territory, but it ruled through Hellenistic frameworks, not Persian ones. Satrapies became provinces of foreign dynasties. Zoroastrian temples faded in prominence. Persian nobility either adapted, vanished, or were reduced to regional lords under Greek control. The political structure forged by Cyrus and Darius had not simply been defeated, it had been dismantled and replaced. Though rebellions flickered in the east, there was no unified Persian revival. The empire, once the largest the world had known, was now history, its memory surviving more in ruins and rituals than in power or sovereignty. Persia's empire fell, yet its essence survived, woven into the fabric of new civilizations arising from its ruins. Though conquest ended Persian rule, it could not erase its foundations, the laws, language, and memory of an empire that shaped the world. This is the end of this series. Watch the rest on Tales Lost in Time.